Welcome to my session, Seal, Personalize and Automate your Windows Virtual Desktop images using a validated vendor best practices way. My name is Matthias Schlimm. I'm a managing consultant at Logging Consultants Germany and I'm working in the EUC market since 1998, mostly on our customers in the DACH region. I have a deep experience in Microsoft and Citrix technologies and I'm a Citrix CDP since 2 years now. Today we are talking about your WVD image and how do you create or update this one. Automation is the goal. I saw many customers in the past, they prepared their images manually with a checklist. But the image is not every time the same. Human failures or other team members, they maintain the images and but last, the time consumption. This was for me the start to write a tool called the Base Image Script Framework. I will show you how easily you automate the sealing step for your Windows Virtual Desktop image and much more. Let's go! The Base Image Script Framework BIS-F is a unique community tool. I'm starting the development in 2012 and it's completely environment independent. That means it scans automatically the services that runs under the hood and only runs the default action for this service. Means I have combined all vendor best practices for the single services like antivirus, defender or whatever and run vendor best practices for this particular service. Means antivirus full scan at the end, SCCM, SCOM or whatever, show it later inside of the presentation. It's also complete 100% PowerShell driven. That means you can customize the code or you can extend the code for your own environment. Also, you can export a complete configuration to a single JSON file. That means the complete configuration is stored there. And you can copy this JSON file from one environment to another for a quick start. The image sealing process is called the preparation. That means you run the sealing, the BIS-F at the end if you are creating your image from scratch or if you're updating your image. The personalization runs at the computer start. That means after the preparation is finished and you deploy your image, you multiple deploy your image or whatever, the personalization is running every time on the computer start and also run several steps. But before we are going a little bit deeper into BIS-F, I will show you what happens until today. First of all, I will give a big thank you back to our community. Why? The community helps me to integrate and also give me feedback about the issues, the bugs or whatever. So BIS-F is a completely free community tool. You can grab it from my page at eucweb.com. At the moment I have more than 23,000 downloads at the moment, and in the last year only 11,000 downloads of this great tool. You can also have access to a private Slack channel at my own. That also you have access on my page at eucweb.com, and I'm also a member of the great World of EUC Slack channel. Then you can reach me there. But now we are going into the BIS-F. So first of all, BIS-F is split up in 3 different parts. First of all, the installation, the configuration, and last but not least, you're sealing the image, the run process. The installation is quite simple. So you can download the installer from my page. This is an MSI installer. Install it with your automated process like the standard MSI commands to install this one, or click next, 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 finish, and the MSI is completely extracted and installed on your image. Then the second one, the configuration. The configuration, we are going a little bit deeper on it in our next slide. That's complete configuration can be done inside of an HDMX larger group policy. And the run process is calling the preparation. This step runs every time on your image after you have created from scratch or you have updated your image. So the image sealing process called the preparation phase inside of the BIS-F. Then you can see here inside the screenshots the PowerShell scripts that we have completely integrated inside of our Base Image Script Framework. During the preparation phase, the order is first we are initialize the global section. Then second one is the custom scripts, and at the third step, all preparation scripts that you can see here in the screen. If you have some custom scripts, you can place this one inside of the custom folder. So this is also very useful if you are updating or whatever. BIS-F installer does not touch the custom folder. All other scripts that you can see here in the preparation folder or later in the personalization folder can be updated or changed, whatever, but I don't touch the custom folder during update or whatever. So what you can see here, we are also detecting all applications or antivirus or FSLogix depending on the service. So that means if the service is installed on your image, then this script will be run or do nothing at it. At a later point, we're also going a little bit inside of the configuration, means the HMX, so we also can explain several steps there. During the preparation phase, also the scheduled task that is required for the personalization is created. That means during the sealing step at the preparation, a scheduled task that you can see here is created. This task is run at every system setup. This task runs several steps that you can see here in the screen. That runs also all scripts in this order. Means first of all, I've run the global BIS-F installation, means the modules that I need, the logging feature, and also go on. Then all personalization scripts is running, and at the end, the custom scripts that you place there is running. That means at every time on the computer startup, these scripts will be run. For a simple example, for the antivirus or whatever, it's also making unique again, making to the backend server. For example, I have also some customers, they're running not the ADP or a Defender, they have their own antivirus solution. That means at the preparation step, we are running a full scan of the image, then the service is stopped, and we are removing also the unique identifiers under the hood, means the registry items that we need for the antivirus, the files or whatever, that's completely removed from the master image. And at the end, the master image shutting down, and you are deploy these master images to your WVD environment. For example, the first image is coming up, means WVD number 1, then the image is booting up. So the image is booting up, and we are also detecting one antivirus service. That means we're making the antivirus unique again to your backend server. That means we are taking unique identifier that's starting with null, for example, and at the end we are touching the MAC address of the WVD image number 1, and this combine with the null and the MAC address, we are combining this one to write it inside of the registry. And at the end, we are starting the service for the antivirus, and every time the machine is booting up, they got the same unique identifier with the MAC address at the end, and after the service is starting, every time this machine can be communicated with the same unique identifier with your antivirus management server. Also, for FSLogix, for example, we have a great integration. I showed also later time. We are also can copy the FSLogix rules from the central share to the image. Now you can see a simple demo of preparation phase. That means I'm starting at the end, the BIS-F script framework. The BIS-F script framework detects all the services that I have installed that can run a separated preparation phase. Also the event logs is redirected or not if you have configured it, if you have a separated cache disk, for example, and also the other things. Also, antivirus is running, scan is running, and also the API client is detected, and also we are running the best practices from the render itself on this image. So After the semantic is running, we also detect several steps, and also checking Office, rearm state, or also the operating system state, doing a rearm or not. I know here mostly on WVD, Office 365 is running, there's no rearm required. This is a screen from another system, so that means in this particular image, Office must rearmed. So also we are running several steps before the image is sealed and shutting down. So also we are running some pre-commands. That means clearing the event log. Also our software distribution folder will be deleted or cleaned up. Also the temp directory will be deleted, and all the other things. So at the end, BIS-F can be shutting down your image, but if it's triggered for from SCCM or MDT, for example, so the shutting down is suppressed. So normally you can shutting down the image inside of your automation. So with the latest version, the BIS-F 7.19.12, so we output some enhancements on this. Means for VDI like WVD, you can also configure the local administrator password solution for it. That means every time the non-persistent environment, the image are booting up, so then a new password will be generated for this one. Also, after FSLogix part, we have several steps. I will show you later in a separated screen what we have done with the FSLogix optimization. Also for the page file, you can set the page file like you have fixed size that you would like to have to run every time, and you can also configure it completely inside of the HTMX. In addition, add a sysprep at the end that will be run. You can also configure inside of the HTMX separated command lines then you will use with sysprep. In addition, for better logging and also for better troubleshooting, you can also enable the PowerShell transaction log inside of the HTMX, and every time a new transaction log is stored under C Windows logs. And for SCCM and MDT deployments, the log file of the BIS-F will also be redirected to the normal SCCM or MDT log file folder. And for different environments or operating systems, we have several defrag optimizations at the end to run a defrag before the image is shutting down. In the third party, we have also added some Ivanti REST1 automation sealing steps that can be also configured inside of the HTMX. For Uber agents, for monitoring or whatever, you can also put the Uber agent on your WVD images there, and can also run it inside from the BIS-F triggered at the end. Also for third party like Asterix or CC Cleaner, we have also several steps there that be configured inside of the HTMX, and also we are supporting now the 64-bit tools there. In security section also we have several antivirus additions there. So if you have run not the Microsoft Defender or have run like other security antivirus solutions, you can also run it there. BIS-F have also some integrated optimizations since the last couple of years now. So we are supporting many Microsoft operating systems, and you can see many optimizations for the Microsoft part here on this screen. So that means also we are removing the WVD sys client, then also with reset performance counters and all the other things that you can see here on the screen. Some of these things can also be configured inside of the HTMX, then I will show you later at a separated screen. That means, in summary, we have also some security integration like Semantic, Trend Micro, and also Microsoft Defender or whatever. And you can also run it inside of your WVD solution. We prefer for WVD also Microsoft Defender or the extension like ATP that can also be run inside of your WVD image. From the deployment part from the BIS-F also we are supporting different environments like Asterix, Matrix, or Ivanti Heat DSM, for example. Some of my customers also would like to run Citrix at the top of WVD. Yes, you can do it, like Citrix MCS, for example, and also BIS-F detect automatically all the installed things like Virtual Desktop Agent or whatever, and do the right thing for you with less configuration. That is the goal from BIS-F. Do more with less configuration. So the BIS-F detect the complete environment and do the right things for you, basically on a vendor best practices way. So from the application virtualization, also FSLogix is supported. We detect also the service if installed or not. On the WVD image, also FSLogix is completely integrated and also supported. That means also if you would like to have AppV or whatever inside of your WVD images, BIS-F will also detect it and run it inside of the sealing step. And also, if you would like to monitor your WVD images with different solutions, you can see it on the right, like Microsoft Systems and Operations Manager, Splunk, Universal Forwarder, or the Uber Agent. You can run it inside of your WVD solution, and also BIS-F will detect this one at the end of the sealing process. So, but now, before we are going a little bit deeper inside of the BIS-F, we have also some deprecated features that we are coming with the latest version 7.90.12. So that means in earlier version like the 6.1, we have also some message boxes there. That means a complete automated sealing was not required. Then you can have some message boxes there. With the latest version, we have completely removed this one, and you can or must configure it completely with the GPO like the HDMX. So in this case, also the very silent option is removed from the BIS-F HDMX. That means with the message boxes, also the very silent option is completely removed. In earlier releases, also the container service is also disabled during sailing. With the latest version like the 7.19.12, we do nothing with this service. Also with the scheduled tasks are not longer disabled from BIS-F. And also for my German speaking friends, the language file from the HTML is also removed. We are distribute only the English US HTML. So the complete configuration is done with HDMX. After you have installed the BIS-F, you got the HDMX folder, and inside of this one you got the HDMX and the HTML file. Copy please it to the policy definitions folder, and you can start the configuration. At the moment at the screen you can see the global section from the BIS-F part. You configure all these items that you can see here inside of the global section. And also for the logging feature inside configure logging, you can also configure the logging retention. That means how many log files would you like to be stored. In the default way, the last 5 logs also being kept on your image. And in addition, at this point in configure logging, you can also configure the PowerShell transcript for better logging and troubleshooting if something went wrong. The shutdown base image after sealing, the latest point in this screenshot, the base image can be shutting down at the end. That means if the sealing step is automatically triggered from a task sequence like Asterix or MDT, the shutting down is suppressed. So please do it here with the agent from Asterix or MDT. And now we are going to the Microsoft section. So also we have seeing here many options that you can configure it here. In the latest version 7.90.12.5, so we have not the active Azure Active Directory AED in this GPO. This will come with an upcoming version, so this is also a screenshot from the upcoming version 7.19.12.6. Also you can configure here the complete ghost device removal, so you can also configure all ghost device remove automatically with PowerShell with the section under the hood. That means you can first run the operations mode like analyze to see, okay, what ghost devices do I have on my image, and can later remove it. That means operation mode in analyze only logging all ghost devices inside of the log, and you can remove it at a later time. Also, the part from FSLogix can be configured here. That means you can have a great integration with FSLogix. I show it in the detail section at a later point of this presentation. At the last point of the GPO configuration, you can run antivirus full scan on your image. So that means BIS-F automatically detect the antivirus solution that you have been installed on your WVD image. And if you enable it here, the antivirus full scan will be run inside of the sealing step. That means if you would like not to have a full scan, you will have a normal scan or whatever, you can enable here only the custom scan arguments and enter the custom scan arguments for your antivirus solution. That's no more. Also we have the BIS-F shared configuration. What that means, if you have the GPO configured, that means you can have also the complete settings on your WVD image, but you would like to store it not inside of the registry. You would like to have it inside of a simple JSON file to copy the configuration from one environment to another. First of all, you must enable this one inside of the BIS-F configuration to enter the path where you would like to store the BIS-F configuration. In 7.19.12 we have stored all this information inside of a JSON file, but if you like to come from an earlier version like 6.1, we are stored this information in a simple XML file, but 7.19.12 is backward compatible and also will read this XML file. In the next slide I will show you a simple demo how you can export the configuration from BIS-F. Okay, inside of the registry in this path we see all the items that we stored that are from the HDMix. In this file also we would like to run inside of the inside of the PowerShell. We open the path, enter the file with the export shared configuration switch and hit enter. So the normal modules are loaded like a simple normal BIS-F start, but a little bit different. First of all, we apply once the computer GPO to have all updated items here inside of the image before we are exporting these registry items. After this one is running, BIS-F will check if someone is running under the hood. That means also if the personalization phase is running or not. The warning here can be ignored. That is also on my test image available. And you can see in the screenshot now all items under the registry key is now exported to the file. At the end also a log file is created, we can check it later, and if we are going back we saw now these two JSON files. So in the BIS-F config we have also all files or all items stored from the registry, and in the second one this is reference to the BIS-F config. That means this file must be stored every time in the root folder of the Base Image Framework installation and pointed to the BIS-F Microsoft Windows 10, for example, configuration. That means you can also store this configuration on a shared configuration path like a UNC path or in the Azure Blob Storage or whatever, but the system must have access to this share to store the item store the config on the shared path. So in the next slide I will discuss with you the system optimization. So BIS-F is not designed to put more users on your image. So BIS-F is designed only to have a generic image. at the end. So it must create a generic image, but is not run, for example, to optimize services, to optimize scheduled tasks, to remove universal apps or whatever. This is not be done by a system by BIS-F. So in the past, so like older versions from BIS-F, they have also run several steps to optimize services or scheduled tasks. But with newer versions from Windows 10, we got more services, we got more scheduled tasks or other universal apps on the system, and this is not be done by BIS-F. So, but BIS-F had a great integration with other system optimization tools. Like you can easily use it with Citrix Optimizer, so we have also extended it inside of the HDMX. And in addition, you can also use the VMware OS optimization tool. And last but not least, if you would like not to use Citrix or VMware, you can run a custom script that optimize your system for this operating system. So in the next slide, I will show you how easily you can integrate the BIS-F, for example, with the Citrix Optimizer. So you have a simple template that you have prepared with the Citrix Optimizer that is stored in the ESU Web Windows 10 1809 XML. And inside of the BIS-F GPO, you can enter also this simple template, also called ESUWeb_Windows. The rest of it automatically detect with newer version. That means also you must not update the HDMX if you have a new template like ESUWeb Windows 10 1909 or 2024 XML, for example. Then you can store it here, and if the operating system also detects the Windows 10 version, it also runs the right template inside of your image. That also means I have created different kind of knowledge base articles that you can see here inside the screen. That means you can also run multiple templates inside of the BIS-F HDMX on your WVD image and can put more users on your image with the Citrix Optimizer in this simple example. So the personalization step that I have shown before is running every time on the computer setup. That means if you seal your image, BIS-F is checking if the personalization is run. So that means the preparation is running first if the personalization is finished. And this can be configured also inside of the HDMX. Normally, the BIS-F preparation will wait until the personalization is finished. But sometimes you would like to not wait until the personalization is finished. Then you can configure it here in a different way. That means skip personalization based on this mode can be configured to never, but at the active state override, normally it not be run at change and continue. Normally it's waiting here for the personalization is finished, but you can set it active state override. Change and continue means the personalization runs, but if you're starting the preparation, it does not wait if the personalization is finished. It's starting automatically with the preparation and seal your image. So now you can see here in the single table, normally do not change and wait is the default value for the active state override, and change and continue. That is my example that I've explained now in this slide. Now we are talking about the BIS-F, the Microsoft FSLogix integration. This can completely be configured through the BIS-F HDMX in 2 steps. First, you can purge the FSLogix rules during master image preparation. That means if you have some of these FSLogix rules like app masking on your master image, this can be deleted through the sealing step. And second, you can enter a simple UNC path inside of the HDMX, where you can copy the FSLogix rules, the assignment files, and the URL rule sets like the XML from the central share during the device personalization on the system setup. That means every time if your image are starting up, these files would be copied from the central rule share to the device. I think that is a great integration through between BIS-F and FSLogix and can help you a lot. For logging and troubleshooting, BIS-F combine all steps in a single log. That means the PowerShell transcript can be enabled in the BIS-F HMX that stored on a separated path inside of the Windows logs. But from external processes like Microsoft Office or Office rearm or operating system rearm or whatever, this log content would be grabbed and also would be shown inside of the BIS-F log. As you can see here, all items that run through BIS-F are logged in this single log. That means you can check, you can doing your troubleshooting. If you extend BIS-F with your own script, you can see all these items in this singular log file. At the end now you can also see this link to my knowledge base article where you can see troubleshooting and test a single script. In the next slide I will show you a single demo of this testing a single script and also how you can access to the BIS-F module. If you would like to extend BIS-F with custom scripts or whatever, I can show you easily how you can access to the module and some simple examples. So first of all, we are copying this items from the knowledge base article and starting BIS-F like the mini environment that we need to get BIS-F run. So first of all, we are get the command and show all commands that we have inside of BIS-F. So you can see we have a lot of functions inside of BIS-F. You can now have access to it and can address it. So first we are running a simple step like test BIS-F WVD software and see, okay, it's currently not detected. And for example, a second one to test if the VM is run in Azure, you see a true value back that you can run in your own scripts. But now I will show you also use the help function of a simple module that's completely integrated there. So we are running the get help function with the name of the function itself and at the full response that you can see here. So for a simple example, I'm also using today's dsreg cmd status from my current machine, and we are also use some of these states inside of some scripts. First of all, I get the output of the normal Azure Active Directory state of my machine. But now it's very easy with BIS-F to run this single example. I will show you how I can get only a yes or a no value back like this simple example. So you run get BIS-F dsreg state with the key you like to want, and as a return value you see a no or a yes value that you can also be used at a later time inside of your custom scripts, for example, if you would like to have it. So this example is also integrated now in the upcoming version from the BIS-F, like the 7.19.12.6, and also we are using some of these steps like Azure Active Directory. So at the moment also we have available the 7.19.12.5 that's available on my page. You can download the MSI installer, and also we have also a link to the documentation and what's new, and you can see it also inside of the download folder to grab a current version of it. So hopefully before Christmas I will also release the updating version 7.19.12.6 that also have some functionalities that we saw in latest example, like the Azure Active Directory, hybrid join or leave if you would like to run or not. Also for the .NET optimization that can be completely configured now inside of the HMX. So that means some short screenshots. That means if you run, for example, Citrix on the top for Citrix VDA for MCS, then you can leave the Azure Active Directory before you run the sealing process and deploy your image. And during the personalization phase, also the images join every time the Azure Active Directory. That helps you a lot, and you can easily configure it here on at a simple step and in a central configuration. And also for the .NET optimization, also we have extended with 2 simple steps like the optimization 1 and the optimization 2. You also can configure it here for the arguments and also the text that would be displayed inside of the sealing step. And also we have inside of the 7.19.12.6 some optimizations for Microsoft Defender, like the npcmd run process, and also for CCM process before stopping the service. In the bottom of the screen you can also the link to the BIS-F current issues that I'm reported. If you have some new features they would like to have with the BIS-F in the next version, or you identify some bugs or issues, you can open up your GitHub issues on this link. So a little bit look into the side of the future releases that are coming next year, hopefully in the first half of the year. So first of all I will working on the rollback functionality. That means all the files that would be deleted through the BIS-F sealing step for antivirus, for example, all the registry items that must be modified, that I'm also be stored in an XML file, or the files would be stored later in a zip file that can also be used for a rollback functionality. Currently that is not implemented, but I think that is very useful and also many times requested for my customers. And also email reporting. That means at the end, if the sealing process is finished, send out an email to get the logs, to attach the logs and say, okay, sealing process was successful on that, and you can also more reporting of this. Also the GPO settings for all BIS-F own optimization. In the past also I have designed BIS-F, okay, do less configuration, running all vendor best practices without configuration, but at the moment the market is a little bit changed. So one customer has different items that must be run as another one, and also I think that is useful to see all optimizations that run under the hood, like temp file deleting or not. Then that can be configured in the future release of the BIS-F. And also a simple pre-scan of the environment before running the sealing step. That means BIS-F can detect today all the environment and can see, okay, I must run antivirus defender or antivirus semantic, for example, and also this show you, okay, BIS-F detect these services and which optimization would be run, like a simple analyze before you're starting the image sealing process, and much more. All of this information can be getting inside of the GitHub or on my webpage euzweb.com. So I think BIS-F will save you a lot of time. So you can automate the build process from the scratch up to the end to the sealing, or if you update your image, run it and go home and wait until the image is finished. So that means you can spend more time with your family, or also like me inside with your hobbies, like I'm on the trails with my bicycle or whatever you like to have. So for me, I think now that is a great tool. Use it, give me feedback, go to my page, go to the information and grab it your copy today. It's completely free. I love this tool since years, and also the customers and also the users around. So for me, now I'm at the end. I have time for questions. I think will say thank you a lot for your time. Have a great day, a great event today, and say goodbye. Now it's time for questions, and yeah, thank you.